School friends. We are going to wrap up our study on insects this week, but first we're going to talk about how insects help the planet. So, one of the things we're going to talk about first is how ladybugs help the planet. So, I'm going to show you a picture, and this is a picture of roses. They're a flower that is often in people's garden. Have you ever seen roses before? They're so beautiful and they come in all types of varieties and all types of colors. And many gardeners love to grow them in their gardens, and lots of people like to get them and put them in vases in their house. So the gardeners want their roses to grow into beautiful flowers, like in this picture, but sometimes there's a little thing called an aphid that gets on the roses. Does it look like the aphids help the roses? I didn't think so either. It looks like the aphids crawl all over the rose and the leaves and the stem, and they eat the rose. So when the aphids do this, it hurts the rose or kills it, and it's not able to grow and turn into those beautiful flowers. So gardeners need some way to keep the aphids off their flowers. Now, some use special chemicals that help to keep the aphids off their flowers, but a natural way to do that, which means without using any of those nasty, harmful chemicals, is to have other insects help. An insect that helps with aphids is a ladybug. You can see in this picture, the ladybug eats the aphids. So when the aphids are on the roses, the ladybugs land and eat them off. And the ladybugs don't hurt the roses. So that is one way that an insect helps the planet. The ladybug eats the aphids and allows the roses and even other types of flowers to grow and turn into beautiful flowers. Another insect that we've talked a lot about over the last few weeks is the bee. And bees are very, very helpful to the planet, probably the most helpful insect. And I have a picture of a bee, and this yellow stuff on the bee is called pollen. We've learned through the weeks that the bees collect the pollen and the nectar, and they take it back to the hive and they turn it into honey. When the bees land on the flowers and get into the pollen, this yellow stuff, it sticks to their legs and their antennas, and then they fly to the next flower. And then they land and they do the same thing. They collect more nectar and more pollen. When they do that, though, some of the pollen from the other flower falls off, and this helps the flowers to grow. It helps flowers to grow and it helps trees with flowers, blossoms on them to turn into fruit. And it helps things in the garden like fruit and vegetable plants to grow that fruit. So here is a picture of an apple blossom. So the bee would land right in there with the pollen on their legs, and it would help to pollinate the flower. When the flower is pollinated and the tree is healthy, we get this. So that flower turns into the apples that you see on the tree. And that's all thanks to the bees transferring that pollen from flower to flower. So that is another way that an insect helps our planet. If we didn't have bees to pollinate the flowers, then we wouldn't have trees, we wouldn't have a lot of different foods, and we wouldn't be able to see those beautiful flowers either. So bees are very helpful by creating the trees and the flowers and helping them to continue to grow. It also gives us our oxygen that we breathe. So insects like bees can be very helpful. And the last thing I have to show you, Miss Sarah went on a trip and she saw a sunflower, and in the middle are two bees. And it looks like they're collecting pollen from the sunflower. I'm sure they're going to fly from sunflower to sunflower and help those other sunflowers grow and develop. So next summer, when the sunflowers grow again, we get to see that beautiful big yellow flower. So those are some of the ways that insects help the planet. Can you think of any other ways that insects help the planet? I would love for you to draw me a picture, or you can have someone type it up in the comments for you. I can't wait to hear your ideas. There's many ways that insects help, and I want to see if you can come up with them. See you next time, and we'll be asking a new question. Bye.